hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel, alright? So ultimately, hey guys, I'm not gonna be able to be on here for long, right? Cause excuse me, I gotta move and groove, right? My dang on battery, has been, oh my goodness, it's been absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible and mortifying. If you know, you know. Ain't nothing like when your battery just die out of no damn where. So if this reading just stops in the middle of it, that's why y'all, okay? Just want y'all to know. That would be the reason why. Because my device is been just out of nowhere. I go from 100% to 50 to 15 to 0. And I was like, who the hell is trying to connect to me that damn bad? So much so they draining my battery. Oh my God, that ain't, y'all suck. Professional douchebags, right? But yeah, so hopefully everybody's doing okay though, right? It is the season. We got a few different things going on. One of them that we got going on, of course, is Christmas, right? Something that's kind of coming to me is the whole Xmas portion of it. Now, some people, right, of course, refer to it as in a Baptist and Lutheran and Pentecostal, right? They see it as taking Christ out of Christmas, right? But realistically, what it boils down to for some people, they would want to participate in it, but they don't know about Yule and things of that nature, right? And me personally, I've never really seen what the big issue with it was because everybody has their own guiding force that helps them, right? There isn't just one particular way to do things, is what we all should have learned at these big ages, right? Kids see it, right? Kids see it, but that's why I like the little people a whole lot better than the grown ups. Grown ups want to program you so much to do things the way they want you to do it, and they may have done it wrong, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, of course, not all readings are gonna resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That is okay. It simply means this reading isn't for you, or I'm not your reader, and that's okay. Right? No harm, no foul. Right? But collective, hey readers, I'm hoping you guys are doing okay. Right? Because with Neptune being retrograde, Uranus being retrograde, Jupiter being retrograde, right? It's gonna a lot of different conversations that are gonna come into place will be in regards to a lot of different wish fulfillments that people are looking for. Over the year, I'm hearing years, over the years. Now, here's the deal that comes into place with, right? Because in addition to Christmas slash Xmas slash Yule, right? And how Yule realistically is the foundation for what now constitutes as Christmas, right? Go look it up. You ain't gotta believe me. You can go look it up for yourself, right? Yule, Soldier Boy, tell him. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm hoping that y'all are okay though, for real. Because it's always around this time of year you get a lot of wishes, and a lot of people can't really or don't really appreciate the difference between a want and a need, right? You may want to be with, and especially in a romantic aspect or even in the business portion, right? You may want to partner with someone. However, you may need to do some things by yourself first, right? Okay, so I'm trying to think what else. Cause with Neptune being retrograde, I'm gonna. I promise y'all, I'm gonna get to it, to the life path reading. I really am. 444 when I said that. I promise y'all I am. I'm being blessed, right? I'm seeing my blessings, and I'm distributing, distribute. It's just some stuff going on with distribution. I was supposed to go and get. I was supposed. Oh, I hope they not mad at me. Yeah, I didn't. Because I had stated last night that I would do something this morning, and I had to do that before I did what I said I would do this morning last week. In short, what it's given is when a promise is made early, too early, and you don't know what to expect, especially if you're in your north node, right? And with them being in your north node, pay attention to what your north node is, because a lot of times people, um, I heard say what you have to. A lot of times people have a tendency to discriminate against particular signs. That's all. That's what that is. They have a tendency to participate or yeah, participate in fuckery against or discrimination. I've seen that happen a lot. Discrimination happen based upon a person's sign, um, not even their color. And it's one of those, technically, that's not illegal. It's one of those, they didn't hire me because I'm a Capricorn type shit. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. That's how it be, y'all. Y'all be so petty. People be so petty unnecessarily. Um, and the discriminatory practices that come with knowledge base, right? I did get the answer to my question. I'm shuffling the cards right now, y'all. I got the Kipper deck out. Um, but I did get the answer to my question, right? About what was being taught in the healing circles. At least I'm supposing that that's the answer to the question. It was about how man is basically everything's foundation is man. Well, technically, because man is a base word, and it is a base word in regards to uh, not gender. It's a base word in regards to shorten like Homo sapiens and stuff like that, right? If you know about Anunnaki and all that other stuff, right? Yeah, it's the mechanisms portions of things, but even in that regard, before you're a man, you're a woman. It just so happens that in my Tiffany Haddish voice, your pussy fell out. So, and even in that regard, with what I was hearing, it was very saddening because that means that you feel that everyone is competition and you're not comfortable in your own skin to just be yourself. And then, oh my goodness, that was so disheartening. You hearing that? Yeah, because I was thinking in my head, I'm like, damn, if a motherfucker want to break my heart, all they have to do is tell me what they've been taught. You ain't gotta play the romantic game or none of that shit. You just break my heart just telling me some of the shit it is y'all been talking about. I was like, oh my god. That was not the purpose of anything it was that I was doing with those different foundations or anything. It was to empower people. And then, with the backlash it was that I received behind it, it was just like, oh my God, these people I say what you have to. It made me feel like for real, and that was at 9/11. It made me feel like, oh my God, God, goddess, ancestors, angels, archangels, why did y'all assign me the dumbest people? I was going for the smart people, and it was like all of the dumbasses who couldn't calculate, who couldn't strategize really, and who couldn't see past their own needs. They were very emotionally unintelligent. And it was so detrimental and it was such a hard burden for me to carry. It made me so sad, y'all. Oh my God. Just, yeah, so y'all, you want to break a motherfucker heart, you better know what it is, because my heart typically is always open anyway. You can't break something that's already open. So it's that part. I heard it, there it go. All right, so courtship message of concern. What this is giving is part time. For the business aspect, it'll be about part time. It'll be about part-time messages, and what it is when you get to know a family. Um, the messages that would have came in 414. All right. And false person. And the message is concerned with one not being a false person. Or what comes in regards to being an actor. A person wouldn't be acting. In short, it's not an act. The message of concern not being an act. And it be a male and mature woman. So you don't need to know who these people are in regards to it and for you and overall essence of wealthy man. What this is giving is the wealthy man is the main meaning. And the wealthy man lovers, distant horizons, message, child, great fortune in the community. So ultimately, right, where a lot of this is, oh, by the way, I'm reading a book, right, and it's called Rhetoric, Romance, and Technology Studies in the Interaction of Expression and Culture. I had started reading this book. You know how when you just thumbing through stuff to see if you would like it? I started reading this book a while ago. I didn't finish it. Thankfully, I'm getting to finish it now. But what it is for, in a message of concern, to not act. It's not an act. It's a reality, right? And the income and false person, right? What it is to be a false person. Actor, actress, liar, right? Mm-mm-mm. So what this is realistically given is how oh when a person would have been dating a person, there would have been a feeling of concern and it would have been a message of concern. And what would have taken place is the maturity levels that would have come in regards to things. One of the things I'm gonna go ahead and say is I'm gonna need if you're watching, some of the readings that I already have up is Life Path One and Life Path Six and Life Path Four. Go look for your answers in those readings. That should help you out a lot because I can't touch on it right now. Okay. Ensure when you get the right person, when it's the right one. No, cause it's giving you got the right one, baby. Ray Charles is definitely one of them. The Metal King. All right, discipline, armor, and boundaries. A 3 and a 7. A lot of this is gonna be about it with Neptune being revealing a lot of things and Uranus revealing a lot of things. Again, both of those planets deal with the psyche and psychic, and it's a part of that uh, interconnectivity that comes into place with it. One of the things, as an example, that I can give you guys, right? um, I personally, right, I know I'm still connected to a lot of people that I don't talk to anymore, right? I know I'm still connected to them because of the deepness of the bond. However, I am no longer obligated through karmic rule in order to service them, right? Primarily because the hindrance. And this can happen a lot, you guys. So I know if it happened to me, it's happened to some other people before. But um, is given what happens when you do away with your good karma. Is kind of what that's given. For discipline, armor, and boundaries at 37. Some of this stuff will be about what happened at the age of 37. And then you got Diamond Dreamer, material wealth through prosperity, and hmm, oh, I was gonna say, hold on. Okay, incoming trust, the swan, and communication is the incoming trust in a one of the communication. It's given that into the wisdom that comes into place with trusting that a person would have transformed even though they wouldn't have spoken about it, and there being material wealth and true prosperity. What constitutes as true prosperity? A lot of people um, don't really, it's given that there isn't a real understanding of material wealth and the prosperity that would have come into place with it, and how disparaging it can be, right? In the partnership aspect, if you've been working with people for a really long time, and when I say a really long time, you've been working with people for about 4 or 5. In my case, it would have been about 6 years, and there was no growth. There wasn't a lot of growth. There wasn't a lot of change. The growth and change came from me having to do work to make them do it, and having to teach the hard lessons. Absolutely. This is I'm so serious, y'all, because one of my biggest concerns, right, was in the tarot aspect having to work with adults, because adults don't listen. They only listen when it's beneficial or if they've gotten their ass kicked behind it, right? Y'all, we all know this, right? Some make conscious choices on their own, but most do not. So it was one of those in any event. That's enough about. Well, obviously, this is something to do with that portion, because even in that regard, it'll be about the adult. Since we're in the spiritual aspect, how adult is or how grown is your soul. When you're dealing with baby souls, so to speak, those would be those souls that are anything, yeah, like 500 years and younger. Those are baby souls. Anything between like 501 years to like 2,000 years. Those would be like them teenage souls. And then everything above the 2001 years and so on and so forth. Yeah, those would be the adult souls or the old souls. They've been here a lot of times. They already know what they need to do. They can clear out a lot of karma, a lot of negative karma it is that they would have or could have or possibly incurred. Now, here's the deal that is really bringing to me about the soul level and the soul age, right? One of the things that kept coming up, right? Because part of it is that was coming to me last night was what have you learned along the journey for the twin flame situation, right? And it was one of those. No matter everyone has free will choice. No matter how much, even in these readings, we tell them what to do, they can always do what they want to, right? And they can prolong things and make it worse. Yeah, because y'all just don't know. It's, y'all, you baby souls in adult bodies. I just cannot with y'all. I cannot with you all. And when you come to Earth School, the thought process is okay, well, you know, I'm grown, I'm old, I can do what I want to. And it's one of those, no, you really can't. You still have to stay the course. Because if you make any mistakes, even in your elderly age, yeah, that follows you over to the following lifetime or the next lifetime that you have to come here, that you have to come to Earth, is what I should say. Now, within the whole discipline, armor, and boundaries, um, It'll be about the different boundaries that would have been put in place and set. And then there's this transformation as to what constitutes as a message of concern within one not acting within fake communication and one not acting on not communicating. It's given non communicado and excommunicado, how a person can't talk. Now, because what it's giving is you can't speak or cat got your tongue. And the other portion of this with us, with Neptune and Uranus aspects of what will be going on. All right, say whatever you have to, Ma. Hey, Monica, are you doing okay? Please make sure you get you some fruit. You know I want you to eat some fruit. Anyway, um, uh, there are a lot of different situations within the that come into place, regardless of twin flame or any of that, right? That test your will, strength, and intelligence. And a lot of times, what is coming to me now, right, is two different things. Technically, it's three different things. So this is going to be talking about what vibration is you will be watching a reading in. um, and if you can retain the information while you're watching the readings, right? But what ended up happening, right? When I was younger, there was a guy by the name of David, right? He was a cool guy, right? He was cool, but I know he had different tastes, right? And I at that time I wasn't into exploring in that regard. That's part one. Part two is shifted and transferred into a situation that took place on Phelps, right? Now that is a street out in the county in a park, right? And it kept coming up with King of Cups and all this other stuff. And when I finally found out what it was, I went there to that space, cleansed that space around the tree and it being nature, and that was heartbreaking to see all of the crud that was going on even in that. And I left a can opener, right? To show, yeah, I had been there. I took a picture of it. I showed it and all this. In short, when you have one person who is doing all the work to show, yeah, because in that regard, it's one of those, okay, well, you're the man. Well, no, you can't say I'm the man because I don't have a penis. And what you're teaching to people is that you being a man and you being in this circle, that you're the one who's supposed to take action. In short, what it's talking about is that flip flop aspect that comes into place with people who want too much control and they don't control themselves. 2333 when I said that. In short, control issues. And then the higher, even the higher vibration of it was there was a man by the name of David Sloan. Um, when I was working at Del Mar Gardens with the information was that I had available to me, I did healing rituals for everybody at Del Mar Gardens because I knew I had to leave. I knew I had to leave, and I knew what it was that was going on. So, as to make my exit, I didn't. Yeah, hell, the some of the people that was actually working I was on more fuck shit than I was. That was a problem. I went on it. Anyway, what it boils down to, even in that regard, right, is whether or not a person can or can't be controlled, right? Even in a, and you can't control when a person transforms. Y'all, come on now. Transforms, transitions. You can control it in music. You can control it in life and things of that nature, but you can't control it in a person. You can't make nobody change. They got to change for themselves. Part one, part two. One of the other things it was that I had been seeing as far as like the relationship aspect that was coming into place was about how a person would have been the same with one partner as they are with another partner. So if a person is consistently showing you that they are loving, caring, genuine, and they enjoy having a good time, and one part of it is work. And if they are consistently showing you these things, now that is no longer something that you can put off on them as to why a situation did or did not work out. I said what I said. You can't say after realistically 10 years a person beating your ass. Well, more than likely they just gonna fall right back into their pattern because you came back around to them and they wouldn't have changed. Now, here's the other part of it. If you see that over 10 years that a person was like, you know what, I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, that shit didn't change. It's about whether or not it was received. Okay, so it's that part. Heart chakra. The answer that you seek is in your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love. Overall essence of twin flame. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship and visualize success. See yourself doing well in this situation and have faith in a positive outcome. No, because what it is boiling down to, I wasn't expecting for this twin flame card to come out. What it's boiling down to is when a person knows who your actual twin flame is and they intentionally take you away from them and put all of these triggers and things of that nature in place, right? The lesson that God turns into a blessing is what I just heard. Basically, the lessons that God turns into a lesson. Because ultimately, what it'll do is it'll show what goes on with it. And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday with Twin Flames. Twin Flames, realistically, is it talks a lot more about the book of Enoch and it glorifies what it is that would have taken place with angels, so the angels or Anunnaki, depending on how you view it, right? Otherworldly beings, right, that look different, coming to Earth, procreating with humans. You don't believe me? There's a whole blood strain, right, that RH, and it's not even necessarily only in the immediate identification for the RH, whatever, but also in that secondary aspect. And in that secondary aspect, that'll tell you about genealogy. So I'm thinking that's part of it as well. And in addition to the whole twin flame aspect is in the spiritually based. Spiritually based. If your spirit ain't right, twin flames, then guess what? That's what happened. If your spirit is right, and if your spirit is right, the other portion of this is a lot of y'all don't even know how to demonstrate a healthy relationship. You're a visual learner. People will be visual. They're not kinetic. So twin flame, visualize success, and release. Yep, third eye chakra. In short, if some of this that this is telling me is you gotta the visualizing success, you gotta release it. And then workshops and seminars. Yeah, because it's gonna be based out of what you taught or what was taught in some situations and what it is to be a star seed, one being above, one being below. Let's get some tarot real quick and then I can go ahead and let y'all go. But yeah, the heart chakra, right? And if a person doesn't operate out of their heart chakra, there is a lot of red. There is a lot of red in here. So a lot of root chakra stuff, a little bit of third eye, even in that regard, throat chakra is giving it try to walk away and not choke. So Macy Gray and what it is to be a part of the Grays, what part of the galaxy one would be from, and whether or not they've even tapped into it or not. Yeah, I'm not talking about for fun. I'm talking about for real life. My goodness. Five of Cups, disappointment. Heart chakra being filled with disappointment, and some of this stuff will be about in May. Oh, and then the incoming. world being created for the alchemy aspect or the new world, and the other portion of it being one not being on the path. The disappointment in the heart chakra of one not being on the path. One not being on their way, one not coming. Yeah, I could. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here. In the twin flame community, one person isn't going. One person, yeah, because what it's giving is one person will be an angel, one person will be a human. But let's go ahead and just talk about it in the free will choice aspect of all parties involved. Angels fall in love with angels all the time. It was only 200 angels that came from that did it, right? According to text, right? Book of Enoch. It was only 200 of them who did that. In short, there was a whole lot of other ones who was like, you know what? I really don't want to do that. And how many wars do you know of that took place in heaven? So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Olive juice. In regards to the peace of an offering, a peace offering, and the indecision in an offering, and the indecision in a year. And sure, when you don't make a decision, one will be made for you. That's something that I used to say all the time. Within the incoming movement, 6 days ago, and one not having movement. A person can't move. Oh my goodness. It's one of those you can't go. Mm. It sounds like somebody trying to trying to tell somebody else what to do, and they not even physically in their presence. That's not good. That's part of the issue y'all got. Three of swords reverse. One not being heartbroken. One not having emotional. One not knowing the clarity that comes into place with what inside one's heart. In short, you don't even know what's inside of a person's heart. You don't even know what's inside your own heart. Is ultimately what this will be given for whoever this portion is for, and the upset that comes when the person found the right person anyway. Yeah, it's one of those. I found my person. What it is to find your person. Y'all, oh my goodness, y'all is doing, yeah. Because I heard explain how you got there. Because love ain't that damn hard. It's not. It is. Love is hard in regards to. It's something that everybody strives for and achieves, right? Strives for to achieve, whether it be financially or it be like in the business aspect or it be romantically, right? However, it is not. It was not ever intended to be a war. Humans make it a war, and I don't care what no one says. It's evident that the angels, archangels, they tired of y'all shit. If we gotta start revealing ourselves, the earthbound angels, we got to start revealing ourselves because that means you all aren't doing what you're supposed to do. Part one. Part two, who wants to deal with a person who doesn't listen to them? It's one of those, I know better. I know better. I know what I'm supposed to do. Why do you feel that you know better just because your sexual organs are different than mine and they stick out and they're always cold? I mean, relax. But the paycheck of the Hierophant, inheritance of the inheritance of the transcendental spiritual truths. Transcendental spiritual truths, um, being a godly inheritance. And if you're not acting in God consciousness, that's what it's about. It's not about Christ consciousness. A lot of people have Christ consciousness, but do you have God consciousness? Because the physical body is limited based out of the resources that man put in place. One of the things I will say, yeah, one of the things that I will say that I was like, man, if only, yeah, teleportation. If I could teleport to places, oh my God. It's like, is that really something that's a part of your brain? Because if that's something a part of your brain, I need to tap into that. Like immediately. Actual teleportation, full on, you know? But yeah. So with the whole heart chakra aspect and being a part of a heart, um, with one being always being in a person's heart. I just heard when a person would have been there and on one hand and then the other person would be like they would have another person in another person's heart they would have to grow there. And sure I would have to grow to love you. Don't nobody want to grow to love no damn body. This ain't no motherfucker. Okay, that's the other thing. Twin flames. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Let me go ahead and put this out here. Um, this ain't no damn merry-go-round. It's not. It's really not. You love who you love. There's nothing wrong with just loving a person for who they are, not what they have. And y'all got that. That's where a lot of people got a lot of stuff twisted in the paradigms of humanity and mankind. Y'all got the game all twisted and all messed up. That'd be the reason why I'm like, you know what? But on the highest vibration, right? Yeah, it's one of those when you happy you found your twin flame. You put it out there just because you say it in front of a person, right? Yeah, because what it's given is I did a poem for Romeo and Juliet, and I used to show up to put my stuff out in ethers, right? So to attract it to me for a really, really long time. And the last line I have is, I'm happy that I found my twin flame, right? I list all of this stuff that goes on, and then it gets progressively better. And at the end, right? I know a lot of that stuff was recorded. I know a lot of that stuff was recorded, and I could tell based out of what it was that was going on. It's one of those, nah, something. I for whatever reason, I can't. I'm suddenly not able to speak to this person, or they feel some type of way, or it's like, nah, God ain't gonna do that to me again. That ain't what God got for me again. I went through that several times already, prayed on it several times already, and sure whether or not you can identify when you get what you prayed for, not what you prayed PREYED on, because unfortunately in the religious aspect, y'all like to do that. People be liking to pray PREY and say, in Jesus' name and all that other stuff and mess things up. That's horrible. That's so horrible. I hope y'all do better though. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up real quick. The summarization of it is, within twin flame dynamics, they do. I've noticed that they do vary based cross culturally, right? Um, they all and pay attention to what constitutes as cross culturally because in the dynamics of cross culturally, if you have one person who's acclimated to one type of culture, right, and another person, for instance, you get one person who's acclimated to, say, for instance, rap, and another person who's acclimated to, say, for instance, classical. That's a cross cultural aspect. People try to make it only about ethnicity and all this other stuff, and that's partially where I felt the problem with it, because that means you're not really coexisting. You don't really understand that even in Muslim uh, lore, right? And Indian lore, right? That they have angels. I want to say they have a hierarchy. They identified the hierarchy of angels. I want to say with 99 of them. And don't even get me started in voodoo, with it being 99 pearls to voodoo, and everything. And the fact of uh, me being darker complected, right? And being able to activate the information, the issues that could come into place with that. I'm not saying that I'm having those issues now, but those all do play a very huge part, right, in shaping one's mind and molding one's mind as well as well. Um, Within the whole teaching aspect, the greatest lesson to be learned is, and I even want to say Albert Einstein said it. Hell, even Stephen Hawking, even he learning new stuff. So you mean to tell me the most brilliant minds that you proclaim can learn new things, but you as an individual aren't willing to, and you wonder why I say angrily that you people only operate out of 4% of your brain. Okay. Right. I know it's y'all, okay? I'm hoping everybody is having a good day and getting all snuggled up and cozy and things of that nature, okay? Cause see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. Oh, and people have been letting me know they've been listening to the Knicks mix. It's the Knicks mix, baby. It's the Knicks mix, baby. So when you hear it, that's how it's playing in my head. Okay. All right. Light and love to y'all. Okay. I hope y'all have a really good day. It's Wednesday. I'm thinking I might do a praise. I don't want to say praise break, because even telling the stories and things of that nature through whatever means, right? Even especially through music, um, that's their form of praise, raising awareness, right? So there's that portion. But I'm thinking I'm gonna do a gospel one. Y'all gonna be it, yeah. Just understand that gospel isn't the same for everybody. And if you're listening and you have your own prejudices about my music choice, you don't have to listen, right? I'm not forcing you to do it. You would be forcing yourself, right? That's not me holding you hostage. That's you trying to control some stuff. So pay that some attention, all right? All right. Light and love to y'all, okay? Because see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. It is not light work. It's not light work. And that's why you have to stay